Hola, ¿cómo está Las Vegas? And welcome to Chris Garcia, the conservative American. I am so glad that you are with me today. So many things I want to talk to you about on a fabulous, fantastic Friday here in the city of Las Vegas. I just love everything that's going on. I'm so proud to be an American and so proud that Donald J. Trump is our president. And what I want to talk to you about today is, of course, Robert Mueller has been appointed special investigator to overseas and look into the Russian affairs, what's going on with Donald Trump. I don't believe there's anything even to look into. I think that it's absolutely ridiculous for what they're doing. I mean, come on, what is going on? I mean, there's nothing to look into whatsoever. As I've said many times before, it is absolutely normal for superpowers such as the one that we have here in the United States to be involved in other people's elections. I mean, that's something that is absolutely totally normal. We all know that it happens all the time. China tries to affect elections that go on all over the world. The United States has used CIA in different countries, of course, to find out what's going on in other people's countries and to affect the elections, all the way from Egypt to England. That's what the United States does. So it's nothing new. China does it. Every other country does it. Russia does it, of course, with the KGB. It's something that's very normal. It's something that's done all the time. And so all of a sudden now for them to have to hire a special prosecutor to look into Donald Trump and to look into the fact that he has something to do with accepting information or accepting even money from outside sources to help him get elected president is a joke as far as I'm concerned. So you telling me if you looked into Barack Obama's files that Barack Obama was not paid by other countries to run for president? Do you know how much it costs? How many hundreds of millions of dollars that it costs to run for president today? It's ridiculous. I mean, you're starting at $500 million and now going all the way up to $1 billion just to throw your name. I mean, think about it. Who won? I mean, Donald Trump is a very rich man. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money to run for office, as well as receiving hundreds. Anybody who thinks he didn't receive hundreds of millions of dollars to run for office, you're crazy. I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. He absolutely did. And Hillary Clinton, they said, raised over $1 billion for her run for office. There are not poor people running for office. If you are poor and you're running for office, the chances of you winning are zero. I mean, the people that you have to pay, the commercials that you have to run, the cross-country flights that you have to make, the security that you have to have, the venues that you have to rent out for rallies. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So the flights that you have to take. So absolutely, you have to have money when you're running for president of the United States, and you're not going to spend all of your money with the possibility of you winning being very small. Of course, you're not going to spend all your money. You're going to take money from other sources. You're going to take money from other governments. That's what everybody does. That's nothing new. That's nothing that hasn't been done before. In fact, all of a sudden now, because it's Donald Trump, you have to hire a special investigator to look into that. I find that to be a joke. I find that to be absolutely ridiculous. That's something that goes on all the time. We have been doing that for many years. It's nothing new. I think that it's something that is just ridiculous. It's something because he is not a Washington insider. He is not a player in the games that happen in Washington, D.C., that he couldn't be bought or sold. And that's why they're upset. They're trying to bring him down and they're trying to do things to him because Donald Trump wasn't bought and sold. He came to the game with his own money. And you're not going to make him do anything that you want him to do. He took this job for the benefit of the American people. That's why he did it. He didn't do it because he's looking for a special interest. He didn't do it because he needed the job or he needed the money. This man lived extremely comfortable in Mar-a-Lago in Florida and extremely comfortable in New York and Trump Towers in a place where he has a gold bathroom to use the bathroom. So, coming to the White House, I mean, politically in stature, of course, it's a move up. But as far as convenience and luxury, it's a move down. He took this job because he wants to help the American people, because he loves the American people, not because he has to, but because he wants to. He truly believes in the American people. He truly believes that he wants to make America great again. I feel the same way. I feel like our country has lost a little luster. And I think that it's a shame because this country used to be respected on its values, on the fact that it's a Christian nation. I think that it's a shame that we now are looked down upon almost, that, we're not the country that people look up to, that people want to be like. And I remember when I was coming up in the 60s and 70s, people came from all over the world, not because it's cheap labor, they could get jobs, but because they felt like America was a beacon. They felt like Lady Liberty in New York in the harbor, when they saw that, they felt like they had a chance that their dreams could come true. Their dreams is not to come here and get on welfare and be part of the system and be part of Obamacare. Their dream is to come here and start their own business, to start their own tech company, to have a good job, for their children to go to college and have a better life than them. That's why people came to the United States of America, and that's why people still come to the United States of America. I don't want to see this country turn into a socialist or communist country where people are coming here and it's no better than the country that they left. They don't want to come here from Venezuela and it's just like Venezuela. They don't want to come here from Cuba and it's just like Cuba. They don't want to come here from Russia and it's just like Russia. They want to come here and they want the United States to stand for something different. They want them to have an opportunity to come here and be whatever it is that you want to be and fulfill your dreams. That's what Lady Liberty used to stand for. I think it can stand for that again. Sometimes we get on the wrong track. Sometimes we slip. And I think that's what's happened to the United States of America over the last 30 or 40 years. I think we've lost a little of our luster. I think that we've slipped a little bit. But I think that it's pretty funny that the people noticed it. The citizens noticed it. And that's why they voted Donald Trump in office, because he was talking about making America. People didn't understand that. You heard the Clintons say, well, I think America is great. Well, we're not saying that. But we're not what we used to be. It's not about what you think. It's about what other people think. I always tell people that when they're getting in arguments or this, that, and the other, or they don't feel like they've offended someone. I say it's not about what you think, because you might have offended somebody not even knowing it. So it's if they're offended. It's not if you're offended. It's if they are. And you have to take other people's feelings into accountability. I think if you just ask people around the world what they think about the United States, you go to Europe, you go to the Middle East, you go to South America, we have lost some of the luster that we used to have as a country. And I think it's a shame, because I think this is the greatest country on earth. And I'm selfish. I think I live in the greatest city in the greatest country on earth, Las Vegas, Nevada. And I think that we have lost as a country a little bit of our luster. I think that it's a shame. I think that the United States used to stand, we used to be the beacon. We used to be the country. We used to be the role model that everybody wanted to be. I still believe it's the most fabulous country in the world, with the most fabulous political system in the world, where every vote counts and everybody has a chance to vote in who they want into office. It's not office. It's not people that, it's been given to them, that, there is no democratic process. This is a democratic country. It's a democratic process, but I think we've lost a little of our luster. And I just don't understand why we are wasting time investigating a man that wants to make America great again. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. He ran for office to make America great. He ran for office to bring back jobs. Look at what he's done. He's barely been in office 100 days. And immigration is down. Illegal immigration is down in this country. We don't mind people coming here. We know that we have the greatest country on earth. We know that we have opportunities here that you don't have all over the world. I understand that. But come to this country through the proper channels. My mother did. Rolando LaRosse did. Other people did. Come to this country through the proper channels. And we have no problems with you coming here and living the American dream. My mother came here from Cuba, and she raised kids that went on to college. I went on to college. I have a master's degree. I've become successful. And that's everybody's dream when they come here, for them to have a better life and for their kids and their grandkids to have an even better life than they did. And I'm the living president of that. I absolutely believe in that. And I think it's the greatest country on earth. To come in here illegally and allowing our borders to be open to illegal immigrants and illegal criminals that are using our southern and northern borders to come through our country and live off of us, live off the taxpayers, and threaten our citizens. And you're not even supposed to be here. That's what Donald Trump is talking about. There's nothing wrong with you coming here through the legal process and working very hard to live in the American dream. We want everybody to do that. We are a country of immigrants. Everybody that came here was an immigrant. So that's what we want. But we don't want you to come here illegally And we certainly don't want illegal criminals harming our citizens. And we certainly don't want ISIS and other radical Islamic terrorist organizations to use our borders to come through. Those are the things that Donald Trump talked about. Those are the things that he stands for. Those are the things that he ran on. And how dare these nuts in Washington, D.C. use all of our time. You know, time is valuable. And we're sitting here arguing about things that are absolutely nonsense. They're just stupid. I mean, he had meetings with some Russian officials, some people that he was going to have in his administration, met with other people from other administrations. That happens every single time, happens every 4 years. Every time somebody runs for president, every time there's a new president, do you think they wait for the date for them to come into office to start talking to other administrations? We need Russia in the fight against terrorism, especially ISIS. We cannot be the world's police officers, not when you're $20 trillion in debt, not when there are people in this country unemployed, not when we have the problems that we have. We cannot go around the world policing the world. We cannot defeat radical Islamic terrorists who can move very easily from country to country, who can go in and out, who can blend in. You need other countries to help you in that fight. You need Russia and the KGB. You need China. You need other countries to help you out. And then we are always going to have disagreements with other countries. I absolutely believe that John McCain and other patriots that have served this country, I don't believe it. When people say he's not a patriot, when you live in a hole and you are a prisoner of war for years like John McCain was, and you come back and serve your country politically for over 40 years, you are absolutely, an American hero. And I do believe that John McCain loves our country. But I think that sometimes we are stuck in the time frame that when we go through things in our life, we're stuck in that time frame. John McCain came through the Cold War. And there's always a part of him that doesn't trust Russia, didn't trust the old Soviet Union. Is there a part of me that doesn't trust Vladimir Putin? Absolutely. Would I keep my eye on what's going on in Russia? Absolutely. Do I think Vladimir Putin is playing chess and that he wants to reunite the Soviet Union? I absolutely do. But at the same time, do we need him? Yes. So where you can find common ground, even with your enemies, you should. Because we need him in the fight against ISIS. We need him in the fight against Al-Qaeda. We cannot do it alone. We need other countries to help us out. We need to know who's in the database, what terrorist group is moving where, what terrorist person is getting on this plane and doing this and doing this. It's very difficult for you to be all over the world at the same time. We need other countries to help us out besides just Britain, besides Germany. We need countries with extreme abilities like Russia does with the KGB they're able to go all over the world and track these terrorists, and we need to share information with them. And so I think it's very important that where we can find common ground with Vladimir Putin, and there's a lot of things that we can't find common ground with him. That's understandable, absolutely. I think that some of the human rights things that he's done, some of the invasions of some surrounding countries of which he's done, is absolutely wrong, and it's scary because we know what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring the old Soviet Union back. He's trying to reunite them, and that can be extremely dangerous. We don't want Europe to turn back the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. We worked very hard to eliminate and destroy the Soviet Union and eliminate communism, and we don't want it to spread again. And we know that that's his goal. We absolutely know that. And they're sitting on a lot of natural resources, which our embargoes are stopping him from making a lot of money, which would have him have even more world influence that he has right now. So I understand what he wants, but at the same time, we got to keep America safe. We have to keep our interests all over the world safe, and we cannot do that by ourselves. So I think we should help Donald Trump, not hurt Donald Trump. We are wasting our time with this investigation, and I think whether it's Robert Mueller or whether it's James Comey or whoever it is, I think in the end of this investigation, it's going to turn out to be a whole lot of nonsense. It's going to turn out to be a whole lot of nothing. I don't think that there's anything there, and I think it's a joke. I think it's just a large waste of time. The United States of America has more pressing issues than whether Donald Trump or one of his cabinet members met with Russian officials. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. I absolutely think that they did. I absolutely believe that they had talks during the election. Absolutely. Is that influence? Well, do you think that Hillary Clinton had talks with the Saudi ambassadors? Do you think she had talked with the German ambassadors? Do you not think she had talked with some Russian officials, Chinese officials? Absolutely she did. She took money from them. Absolutely. The Clinton Foundation has taken hundreds of millions of dollars from different governments and from people. So has she been influenced because of some of the checks that they wrote her and her husband? Absolutely. Was Barack Obama influenced by certain countries? Absolutely. It shows up in their politics. So this is nothing new. But I think it's a waste of time. We have so many people in this country unemployed. We have so many people in this country on food stamps. We have such great resources here that are not being tapped into. We are wasting our time with what we should be doing on silliness, investigating. Look, he won. He is the president of the United States. This is a waste of time. It's time for us to get behind our president, and it's time for us to make America great again. I think that it's a joke. So I hope that Robert Mueller does his job. I hope that he is not messed with or intimidated. I think he should be allowed to do his job and investigate. But I think in the end, it's going to be all about nothing. I don't think Donald Trump did anything wrong. And I honestly hope I'm glad that they did pick him. He is a man of impeccable background, and I think that he will do a great job as special investigator into this Russian situation. But I think that he's going to find absolutely nothing. And I think that our president is going to be exonerated of any wrongdoings. And I think hopefully then at that time they will allow him to get on with his job of making America great again, putting Americans back to work, and saving American companies and keeping them here in the United States where they belong. I think that that's what's important. And those are the things that we should be holding our president accountable for and holding our House and our Senate accountable for. Because we elected them and sent them to office and stood in line to vote for them to work for our country. And to me right now, that's not what's going on. It's just a whole lot of obstruction and a whole lot of bickering and arguing. And in the meantime, people are suffering in this country. There are coal mines that need to be opened back up. There are plants that need to be opened back up. And people need to be allowed to go back to work. That is not happening right now. So it is bothering me. It's something that is on my mind when I go to bed. I'm in the city of Las Vegas, and I see a lot of homeless people here. I see a lot of people that are struggling here. And I think it's a daggone shame that we're wasting our time arguing about nonsense instead of programs to put people back to work, instead of opening up plants to put people back to work. Americans like to work. At least the Americans that I know, at least the America that I grew up in. People don't want to sit at home and wait to be taken care of. People want to go out and have jobs. They want to feel good about themselves. They want an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And they want to go home at the end of the night and hug their kids and kiss their wife and go to bed and have something to eat, have some food on the table, and see a better life for their children. College tuition money, savings, a new car, a mortgage, a home, a business. They want to see themselves improving, and they want to see their life getting better and a better future for themselves and their kids. And I think this is the first time in a long time that a lot of Americans don't feel like their lives are getting better or that the future for their children is going to be better. They feel like this generation, things are going to be harder and worse for them than it was for their kids than it was for them. And I think that that's a shame. That's not the United States of America. That's not the America that I know, the America that I grew up on. The America I grew up in is my mother asked me, what did you want to be? You could be whatever you wanted to be, whether it be a firefighter or a lawyer, a police officer, or a president. You could be whatever you wanted to be. And it's not coming like that anymore in this country. It is a struggle for people to make it. I think the school system is abysmal. I think especially the public school system. And I think we need to get behind charter schools. I think we need to get behind magnet schools. I'm from the city of Chicago, and I've seen magnet schools work. I've seen charter schools work. I think the parents need to be held accountable for how their kids are doing at school. I think the parents should be held accountable for their kids being missing from school for attendance purposes. I think their parents should be accountable for what's going on in their children's life. And I think that when you go to magnet schools and when you go to charter schools, I think they hold the child and the parent more accountable for their educational situation. So I think that more funding should be given to charter and magnet schools. I think that parents should have more choice and should not be designated to where their kids go to school. I think that this is a capitalist society, it's a free society, and I think you should be able to choose where you send your kid to school. And I think that you should have options. Because when you don't have options, then your power is taken away from you. And the public school system is going to give you exactly what they want to give you, which is nothing. We have one of the worst public school systems in the world. Our rankings as far as math and science is ridiculous for the richest country on earth. It makes no sense. We need to spend more money on our children. We need to hold parents and children more accountable as far as their education situation is concerned. And we just need to do a better job. The kids are our future. And I think that that's something that has been, to me, coming from a mom who was a teacher and seeing how hard that she worked. I think that our teachers are underpaid. I think our schools are understaffed. And I think the child is not getting the one-on-one situation that they need to have to learn and become the best that they can. I was very fortunate that I had a very hardworking mother. And not only was she a great teacher, but she was a great mom. And when she'd come home after school, she would spend a lot of one-on-one time with all of her children because she knew the importance of education. Unfortunately, that's not going on in a lot of our homes. Our schools are overcrowded. You have 40, 45 students in one class. That's too big. It's already hard for that teacher to keep up with the curriculum, to make sure that those kids are reading and writing at their grade point level or better. And in most cases today, they're reading at lower. Their math scores are lower than the grade that they're in. And I think that that's a shame for the most powerful, richest country on earth. For our children to be doing so bad as far as education, I think is a travesty. And I think that that's something that our president and something that our House and Senate, while they're sitting in Washington, D.C. arguing, they should be thinking about the future of this country. People need jobs. Our schools need to be better. Our borders need to be secure. Why isn't that happening? Because we're arguing about whether Donald Trump met or his people in his administration met with Russian officials before he was elected. Who cares? No one cares about that. When people are trying to pay their bills, when people are trying to pay the power company, nobody cares about who Donald Trump met with. Nobody cares. I believe Donald Trump loves this country. I think Donald Trump wants to make America great again. I think it's very important for him. And so who he met with or what he's trying to do, if he met with Russian officials and they're trying to cut some sort of a deal where they can unfreeze what's been a very negative relationship over the last 20 years, you're going to have to give up some things. Let's just be honest. Anytime you sit down at a table, I don't care how good of a negotiator you are, you have to give to get. And I think that Donald Trump, there's no doubt in his mind, one of the things he promised the American citizens was safety. One of the things that he promised the American citizens was he would take the fight to ISIS. One of the things that he promised the American citizens is that he would make America safe and work on closing our borders and securing our borders. And I think he looked at the situation around the world and said, you know what? We have a superpower on the other side of the ocean who, we have a very tough relationship with, that we haven't had a very good relationship with for years. And maybe if we sat down, because I think he thinks he is a superior negotiator. And he, the art of the deal, that's what he talked about in his book. And he probably felt like if I could sit down with some of these people and we could share what we have in common goals. Yes, I might have to give some things up. Yes, I might have to end some embargoes. But at the same time, if it's going to keep my citizens safe, if it's going to make my citizens safer again, if they're going to sign on the dotted line, if they're going to help me fight against ISIS and other radical Islamic terrorists, then yes, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to negotiate with them. It's better than the negotiating that John Kerry did when he was Secretary of State. It's better than the negotiating Hillary Clinton did when she was making some of the worst deals as far as with Iran and with Russia that have ever gone down in life. I mean, they were two of the worst Secretary of States our country has ever had. All we did was make the Russians mad at us. All he did was make the most ridiculous nuclear deal with Iran, where they're still able to create a nuclear bomb in 2 to 3 years. He did absolutely nothing to secure. That was the worst deal that was ever made, the deal that we made with Iran. It was the worst nuclear deal in history. He did absolutely nothing. Our borders are more open thank you, Barack Obama, than they've ever been before in history. And here we have a president that comes in that wants to clean those things up, that wants to deal with Russia again, that wants to rewrite NAFTA, that killed the TCP, which would have been a horrible trade deal for the United States. Here's a man that comes in and the only thing he does, everything he does, is to help America and to save jobs. Look what he did with Carrier, 100,000 jobs saved. Look what he did with Ford, the plant that wanted to leave and go to Mexico. All this guy has done since he's come into office is work his butt off for the American people. And the only thing the Senate and the House have done is giving him a hard time. I think we need to vote some of those bums out of office when their terms are up next year or in 2 years. I think that's something that needs to be done. We need to think about the people that we have sent to the House and Senate that are filibustering and giving Donald Trump such a hard time. The man that's trying to help us, the man that's trying to create jobs for us, the man that's trying to make America safe again. These are the people that are trying to stop him from doing that. I think Paul Ryan and some of these other people, I think we need to look at some of the people that will be running against them. And we maybe might want to make a few changes ourselves to the Senate and the House, because I think some of these people have been there too long, they've got too comfortable, and they don't really care if America comes back or not. Only thing they care about is keeping their little cushy jobs and getting paid under the table. That's the only thing they care about. Donald Trump, we know one thing, he doesn't need our money. He doesn't need money. And I think that it would be a shame, even though I think he's going to have to do this, to sit down with some of these people and negotiate deals, because, again, I think he would rather negotiate a deal to help the American people than to continue to fight with these people and get nothing done, so that in 4 years they can throw all of this stuff back in his face and say you did absolutely nothing. I think that would be a shame. I've got to go right now. I want to thank you so much for watching me. Google Chris Garcia, the Conservative American. I have so many things to talk to you about. I told you I've been here for months now. I told you I was always going to fight for the American people. I was always going to stand up for the American people. And to me, conservative means common sense. That's why I call myself the Conservative American. I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe in common sense. And common sense says, here is a man just trying to help the United States of America. And we have a bunch of radical nuts in Washington, D.C. that are trying to keep him from helping us out. God bless America. God bless our troops. Google us. We will be up in a couple of hours. Chris Garcia, the Conservative